This Good Morning Northwest morning sprint is brought to you by Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Your time is 6:53. It is time to take on your Tuesday with the morning sprint. Pressure is growing for Israel and Hamas to accept a ceasefire deal. Sydney Charles is breaking down the details. But first, let's get to Mark tracking another chilly start to the day.
No doubt about it. All right, so we do have pockets of energy that were early this morning, and now we see those pushing out, more cloud cover moving in, and we're going to have those afternoon scattered showers like we had yesterday, but just less of them. Waking up cold, 28 in the Deer Park. Bear in mind they were in the mid-30s yesterday. We have low 30s into Hayden, 34 now into Post Falls. As we look at our day today and our forecast, yeah, we're going to see those clouds bumping around, sun breaks, but a high today of 50 throughout much of the afternoon.
Police officers and SWAT surrounded a home in East Central Spokane last night, confirming a missing woman is safe. Police say they found 38-year-old Amanda Pacodas from Airway Heights in a car in East Central Spokane. She was reported missing earlier this week following an incident with a man on your screen, 51-year-old Joseph Parisian, who is still on the run. Police say he is considered dangerous. He is Native American, 51 years old, 5'10", about 180 pounds, with shoulder-length black hair and brown eyes. If you see him or have any information about where he is, you are asked to call 911 or Crime Check 509-456-2233. The U.S. Bank building in the Lincoln Heights Shopping Center on 29th Avenue collapsed in a fire yesterday. The fire started just before noon at the U.S. Bank building at 29th and Mount Vernon. 3 firefighters were in the building when the roof collapsed and debris fell on one of them. The 2 others suffered some minor injuries when they helped get their comrade to safety. We're told the firefighters will be okay and that nobody else was hurt. 7-year-old Christopher and 2-year-old Aiden Deslay have been identified as the 2 children killed in a house fire just more than a week ago in north central Spokane. Their parents, Ariel and Robert Deslay, were also killed in the fire. The Spokane County Medical Examiner ruled their deaths accidental. A whirlwind and a ball of energy is how Aiden's grandpa remembers him. Yesterday, the family would have celebrated Aiden's 3rd birthday, but instead, they shared memories from the past. The family hopes to hold their services this June. For more information on how you can help the family, visit KXLY.com. Prosecutors say the alibi for the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students is still too vague. According to Brian Cober's lawyers, Cober drove throughout the area south of Pullman, Washington, west of Moscow, Idaho, including Wawawe Park, on the night of the murders. The state also says that Cober's lawyers offered no witnesses who can vouch for Cober's whereabouts when the crimes were committed. Brian Cober is scheduled for another court appearance this Thursday. Spokane City Council approved a plan last night to put a new community safety levy on the ballot later this year. The vote passed 5-2, meaning the measure will be on the ballot in August. If approved, it'll cost property owners an additional $1 per $1,000 in assessed property value. That would equate to $192 million for taxpayers. The city says that money would be spread out across several agencies, including Spokane Fire, Police, and the Parks and Recreation Department, with the goal of improving overall safety. The City Council also voted 6-1 to extend the Salvation Army's contract. The Salvation Army's current contract to operate the Trent Resource Center was set to expire today. Mayor Brown's administration says she wants to move away from the track shelter because it does not offer the unhoused a way out. But the mayor's office says it wants to keep the shelter open until the end of May while it transitions to a scattered shelter system. That plan would make beds available in different neighborhoods rather than one big shelter.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel today as pressure grows for Israel and Hamas to accept a ceasefire deal that would release more hostages. The proposal includes a 40-day pause in fighting, combined with the release of potentially thousands of Palestinian prisoners. Now, in exchange, Israel has dropped its previous demand of 40 hostages and is now willing to accept 33. This comes as student protests are ramping up across the country. Protesters at Columbia University barricaded themselves inside a building this morning. Coming up next on Good Morning America, the new crackdown on students and the latest reaction from university officials.
Healthcare workers on strike at Providence Sacred Heart will have to return to work tonight. Their strike agreement is scheduled to end at 8:30 p.m. Providence says parking and entrances for patients, visitors, and caregivers will return to normal by tomorrow morning. Union workers are picketing in hopes of a new contract that they say pays them fairly. Providence Sacred Heart says it is looking for bargaining dates after the strike ends. We'll be back with what.